Good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. Standing today on 6th October 2020, I am going to be shooting my opinion about Lakshmi Vilas Bank, which is in the news from the last 2 to 3 weeks, unfortunately for negative reasons. But please do not expect I am going to be speaking about why shareholders has asked directors not to rejoin, why the CEO of Lakshmi Vilas Bank asked to step down, what are the firing opinions CEO put in the public domain, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to be talking about that. I would talk about something which media is reluctant to speak, and of course the numbers. We clearly understand that Indian banking system is facing a lot of mess. There is no doubt about that. In this coronavirus started 1st January 2020, hardly any Indian bank left who not raised the fund. Rather, if I speak in a little relevant way, hardly any Indian bank left who not raised funds multiple times and still in the queue. But the credit has to go to the media and of course the operators who made sure that the Indian bank shares should not fall from the market, rather they grew. Like yesterday I was watching one of the personalities who generally came in one of the Hindi media channel, and he was bullish about few banks. And I was thinking that what the hell are we bullish on banks? Do we even know that their immunization disclosures are correct? Do we even know that their hedge accounting disclosures are correct? Do we even bother to understand that they are audited by Big Fours? Do we even bother to understand that in fact one Big Four is auditing more than one bank? Do we even bother to understand that Big Fours, the way Big Four audited Wirecard, and what would if India is also having another Wirecard? And by the way, Wirecard is now a very serious issue across the globe. I told you long ago that Singapore is also losing credentials, and that too in a very, very faster way. After months of scandal in Wirecard, now Monetary Authority of Singapore is asking Wirecard Singapore to shut down operations after months of scandal. So Singapore is also losing competitiveness at a much faster pace. Now the question is that do Indian banks are having relevant disclosures? And in the absence of relevant disclosure, what investors are looking at? Hey guys, what are you looking at? Are you looking at the gross NPA? Looking at gross NPA is like talking about 303 in 2020 when the whole world is having advanced defense equipments, and somebody talking about 303. This is the relevance of gross NPA. And if you do not trust me, please open the annual report, or also known as the basically the Basel III disclosures of Goldman and JP Morgan Chase. Download their annual report and compare this with any Indian bank, HDFC, Kotak, IDFC, SBI, any Indian bank. You will feel the reality. You will get to know the difference between Shah Rukh Khan and a model. That Shah Rukh Khan and model is having complete different personalities. You will get to know about that difference. Or alternatively speaking, you will get to know the difference between an expensive car who is worth crores compared to a car who is worth few thousands. And when I strictly speak about Lakshmi Vilas Bank, I got some numbers, and we are a person of numbers, we always speak numbers. In March 2016, the gross NPA of Lakshmi Vilas Bank is around 2%, while in March 2017 it grew to 2.67%. 2018 it is around 10%. 2019 it is around 15.3%. And 2020 it is around 25.39%. which means that from March 2014 to March 2016, the gross NPA grew by around 13 times. 13 times, which is from 2% to precisely 25.39, around 26%, which is around 13 times. Hey guys, where were the auditors? Where were the statutory auditors? Where were the regulators? Where were the internal management when gross NPA grew by 13 times? Not one time, two time, three time, 13 times, guys. And as we understand, gross NPA having directly, basically reverse proportional to the capital adequacy ratio. So common sense, if the gross NPA is rising, so the capital adequacy ratio is falling. Common sense. So March 2016 capital adequacy ratio was 10.67%. 2017 it is around 10.38%. 2019 is around 2018 is around 9.78%. 2019 is around 7.72%, and 2020 is about 1.12%, which precisely means that capital adequacy ratio fallen by around 10 times, which means that in the 4 years period, the data provided by the capital line, from March 2016 to March 2020, the gross NPA rose by around 13 times, while the capital adequacy ratio fallen by around 10 times. But we are not bothered, literally. And why should we bother? Why should we bother, guys? It's a taxpayer money. There is no need to bother. Like, give you another example. We should not be bothered, right? Punjab National Bank on Wednesday declared its exposure of around 1200 crores to Syntex Industries as a fraud. Once the account is declared as a fraud hit, bank needs to set aside 100% of outstanding loans provisions either in one go or over 4 quarters. As of now, they are having provisions of 215 crores, which means that another 800 crores worth of provisions on the card, because now it is declared as fraud. And by the way, something which is already declared as a fraud, you know what is the probability of getting this money returned. You go to NCLT, NCLAT, then you go to Supreme Court. It takes hell lot of time to get your money back, and that too with haircut, by the way. How dare you to talk about auditors? They are statutory auditors. They have degrees. You have no right to comment on them. Please look at their work: infrastructure leasing, financial services, Yes Bank, PNC Bank, Diwan Housing, and the list is seriously long. But are we really bothered to upheal the auditing system of the banks? We're really not bothered. We're really not bothered. Rather, we continue to have the same obsolete auditing system in the banks, and we are happy that every week one or another fraud case come in public domain and we get a chance to comment on that rather than amending the auditing system. The time has come when auditors should not be certified, rather auditors should be based upon credentials, because enough is enough. Millions and billions of dollars worth of fraud happened and nothing came out. Hey guys, just read the Grant GT report on the Diwan Housing. You will get to know. I raised the point, where were the auditors? As simple as that. Rather, my point is, I would like to raise another important point on LVB, and this time I should thank you to Clicks Capital. I'm really not sure whether Clicks Capital would be investing in, would end up as a partner with Lakshmi Vilas Bank or not. This is definitely on them. But I would like to thank you them for raising a very important point, which is the point of indemnity. And this time I'm going to explaining this from two separate parties. So assuming there is a private equity, anyone, there is a bank, anyone. Private equity and a bank is talking with each other, and private equity wanted to invest in a bank. Private equity is going to regulator and saying, hey guys, I need the indemnity. And regulators are saying, hey guys, you went through the annual report of the bank, you know the nitty-gritties, why do you need indemnity? Okay, understood. But the private equity players should tell that, hey guys, If in 2018 you went through the Wirecard balance sheet, except Einstein, Edison, and Newton and the Big Four who audited that, no one was aware it is fraud. So if I look at 2018 annual report of Wirecard, it is next to impossible for anybody to even judge whether it's a fraud. It's a fraud. You cannot judge. So can you judge a book by its cover, where the cover is nothing but the audit report? And why banks? There are many corporates across the globe who went bankrupt over the period of their time, and they were AAA rating. Why banks? And by the way, where are credit rating agencies? Where are credit rating agencies? So in case of Lakshmi Vilas Bank, the situation is really tricky. We're really not sure whether Clicks will end up as an investment or not. We're really not sure whether somebody else come up as an investment. And guys, there is news that public sector banks may come and buy maybe 100%, maybe small part of stake in the Lakshmi Vilas Bank. We really do not know. It could end up another UTI, wherein UTI you are having different stakes of different government entities. But the moral of the story is, should we invest in Lakshmi Vilas Bank or not? Our hedge fund desk is definitely long in Lakshmi Vilas Bank, and we feel that Lakshmi Vilas Bank is a great prospect. But once again, the biggest question is indemnity. And I'm little worried about indemnity, because I feel that the point which is raised by Clicks is really an awesome point. And finding indemnity is really a tough job. So I'm really not sure, but if I would be at place of Clicks and I got no approval for indemnity, then it would definitely be a tricky for me as well. Scene is little tricky. But having said that, there are multiple options which are open. Like one of the options, Clicks may come. Another option is that any public sector concern may come. But the good fact is our hedge fund desk is already long in Lakshmi Vilas Bank since 12.5. We are hopeful about Lakshmi Vilas Bank, and hopefully the resolution would come soon. But having said that, these tricky cases, resolution is always tricky in nature. And you really do not know how they shape up. But we are keeping an eye on the Lakshmi Vilas Bank, and we believe that indemnity is definitely a tricky issue. Having said that, if at March 2020 the capital adequacy ratio is 1.12, that is relatively very small compared to 12%. And more importantly, the latest number as of September 2020 is really not available, so we do not know. But we can guess that September is definitely not different than what we have in March. I don't suggest retail investors to enter Lakshmi Vilas Bank now. I think the right point was at around 12.5. Entering now is little tricky, because if it may fall as well. So if you are at 12.5, standing today it is around 20. If it comes down to 15, you're still in profit. But if you're entering at 20 and if it comes out at 15, then some scene. And really do not suggest people to enter Lakshmi Vilas Bank using options. No. Take cash positions provided you are at 12.5. That is what our opinion about Lakshmi Vilas Bank. But one important thing which is definitely there, a day would surely come in my life when the world will start talking about the banking disclosures in India. Because we need to understand that the way banks in US, Europe and Canada, the way they disclose their 10K and annual report is exemplary. I think Goldman Sachs annual report needs at least 2 to 3 weeks to study. At least 2 to 3 weeks to study. And that's a hell amount of time, to be honest. The way they are making the report is exemplary. Everything immaculate. While the time has come when the whole globe, just like an accounting standard, need to sit and agree that, guys, we have one disclosure for all banks. And by the way, before I go, let me tell you that one of the biggest nuclear weapon that is set for Indian bank is Basel III. we forget it that in this coronavirus, one issue which is diluted by media is when Indian banks are heading for Basel 3. And by the way, as we speak on 6th October, there people talking about Basel 4. I ordered 3 books from Amazon costing me around 20,000 rupees on Basel 4, because Treasury Consulting is preparing for Basel 4. Because I know one thing, that okay, LIBOR reform postponed, Basel 3 to an extent postponed, SFTR postponed, FRTB postponed, but how long? Basel 4 will come, that's for sure. And you know, guys, why I bought 3 books? Because I wanted to see the different authors and their different opinion. I'm telling you that sooner or later, Indian regulators need to agree on a point that we have to go to Basel 3, and then the biggest question will come: capital. Huge capital is required for Indian banks to comply to Basel 3. And guys, I'm much worried that the small banks, they really have that, whether they would have that level of capital to comply for Basel 3 or not. Definitely not. And how come these big banks will get the capital, those who already accumulated capital? Did you ever notice that every week the big banks in the bank nifty are in the newspaper because they are raising capital? And guys, we forget that this is a debt on a bank which impact immunization. But what the hell? Neither in the B school, nor in the media, nor in the Hindi media sponsored TV, no one talk about immunization, so we do not know immunization. And more importantly, we have made a mindset that immunization is nothing. Lakshmi Vilas Bank is really a tricky case from multiple angles. We are keeping an eye on that, but thankfully we are long since 12.5, and we would continue to be long in Lakshmi Vilas Bank. But Lakshmi Vilas Bank is not the only case in Indian banking. There are many Lakshmi Vilas Bank we have in India. And guys, soon people will talk about that. This is Rahul from Treasury Consulting. You know our WhatsApp 9818485155. Any question? You can definitely WhatsApp us. It's really good to see that in 2020 that reading newspaper is always losing knowledge. Because you know, I really don't know how to express this, but even if you read 3 business newspaper in a day, you end up receiving the same information in all 3 newspaper rather than having different information. To conclude, the difference of opinion is 0 now. You read all 3 business newspaper, the difference of opinion is now getting 0, which is really harmful for media. And I always worry about the young kids, those who read these business newspaper. Anyway, this is Rahul from Treasury Consulting. You know our WhatsApp. Have a great time, guys. Talk soon.